Hello, welcome to the United Soccer Lounge. My name is Riley James. This is Goals TV, and we're super grateful you decided to join us for today, where we chat with Addie McCain, who is the Golden Boot leader going into the second half of the season for Fort Lauderdale United. We're super grateful to feature her on the program, not only because she does have the Golden Boot lead, but because of her story. Wylie East High School 5A state champion. Then a Texas A&M Aggie, first team All-SEC, SEC midfielder of the year. And then she's parlayed that into two stops in the NWSL with Kansas City and Chicago. And now, like I mentioned, the Golden Boot leader after one half of a season in the USL Super League with Fort Lauderdale United. We're super grateful to have her on the show. We talk about so many different things. And if you're a fan of Fort Lauderdale, you should be very thankful you have this person on your team. We really enjoyed chatting with her. But that will do it for us off the top of the program. If you like this show, you can subscribe to it on goals.tv. You can like it. You can comment your favorite thing about Fort Lauderdale, about Addie, about the USL Super League, or about what it's like to have a couple weeks off, right? These women get the holiday season to themselves, to their families, to travel, to whatever they decide to do. But now we're playing soccer again, which everyone's super excited about. That will do it for us. Thank you so much for watching our show, and our interview with Addie McCain starts right now. Please welcome to the show today a 5A state champion at Wylie East High School in Texas. She parlayed that into a career at Texas A&M, where she made 75 appearances, scored 16 goals, first team All-SEC and midfielder of the year on her resume in College Station. She's taken that into two different stops in the NWSL at Kansas City and Chicago, but you probably know her as the Golden Boot leader, 8 goals after 14 matches in the USL Super League. Please welcome to the show, midfielder from Fort Lauderdale United, Addie McCain. Addie, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. How are you?
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm good.
Now, a lot of things to get to, right? We'll talk about Texas. I'm over in Louisiana. I know all about Texas.
Perfect.
But I want to start off. You guys just played your first game back from break. It was a makeup game for the Hurricane over in Tampa. How did it feel to get your feet wet again, playing in the second half of the season and obviously against a rival like Tampa Bay?
Yeah, it was really nice. I think, you come back, you have another little miniature preseason, which is never fun. You're having to do inter squads, you're kicking at each other. It's much more fun to play against other people. And so I think we came back well. Obviously, it was disappointing to go up 2 goals and then to kind of let them sneak back in there and tie it. But I think anytime you get points on the road, it's a plus, it's a positive. So yeah, it's been good.
Now, the first half of the year, it was just spectacular for you. 8 goals over 14 games. You're the Golden Boot leader, and you guys are in a playoff position going in to the last 14 matches. What worked so well for Addie McCain in the fall part of the season?
I think we as a group worked really well together. I feel like oftentimes I was putting myself in good positions. My teammates were, putting good balls in. We were working really hard off the ball. I feel like things like that is what worked well for me. I feel like I'm regaining my confidence that I feel like I've missed ever since, probably all the way back to Texas A&M. You get at this professional level, it's really hard. It's often hard to continue to feel confident in what you're able to do. And so I feel like this first half of the season, I was able to kind of feel like myself again. And like I said, really good teammates around me. And yeah, I just think we all worked really well together.
And now we mentioned the success at the amateur level, and we will talk about that later on in the show. But I mean, individually for you, right? Collectively as a team, Fort Lauderdale had a great into the fall half, and we will talk about that. But for you, just to be able to see what you saw and to be in the positions that you were in, it takes a lot of individual skill and it takes a lot of practice and all these different things that you put into this. How rewarding was it to go into that break as one of the more high profile names in this league? Being on top of that Golden Boot leader list is definitely a great accomplishment.
Yeah, it's definitely rewarding. I feel incredibly grateful. But I think for me, like, it doesn't feel like the work is done. Like, we have big goals as a team. We want to bring a championship to Fort Lauderdale. And I know that the goals from me, the goals from my teammates, they can't stop there. They can't stop at that half. So we have to continue striving, not only to get better every day, but to prove and reprove why we feel like we can be the best team in this league.
Now, collectively, towards the end of the break, you guys put together 9 points in the last three matches. A really great end for everyone in Fort Lauderdale, and it got you guys up back into the mix for the playoff spots. You come out of break. Obviously, you don't want to. You want to capitalize on as many points as you can, but it almost sucks in a way that you guys got onto a roll and then you have to go off for a couple of weeks.
For
You
sure.
come back, you get together. What has been the messaging to ensure that you regain that form going into the last 14 games?
Yeah, I think continuing to just believe in what we do and get better at the little things that we do. Oftentimes going into games, we scout, we watch film, but oftentimes, like our coach says, it's about us and it's about what we do well. And we truly believe that. And so I do feel like we have a group that's really bought in. Everyone's determined to be the best version of themselves every day, every game day, all of those things. So I think it's just continuing to focus on the little things. And like I said, getting points on the road or closing out games when, we're up and you let a team like score in the 90 plus minute, learning to game management a little bit more, and hopefully those are things that we focus on and take advantage of this half the season.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned film, right? Because I have covered this sport for a long time, and soccer is unlike any other game I've ever been around. Where in obviously in football, it's all about what the other team is doing and match your game plan to the other
For
team.
sure.
Soccer is so much more about the 11 players that you have,
For sure.
right? They may do something really great, and you kind of game plan to stop that, but it's
For
it's
sure.
mostly about you. So, how do you balance the style of play that Fort Lauderdale has cultivated versus knowing that another team does something really well? How much of that plays into game preparation?
Sure. I mean, I think it's just kind of like I just mentioned, continuing to focus on the little things, continuing to, make sure that we're organized in the ways that we need to be defensively. We're, finishing opportunities on the other end. You don't get a plethora of opportunities in this league or in any league, and women's soccer. And so it's putting your chances away when you can. I just think it's doing all the little things that your team might do well. I think it's a little difference when it comes, to games, to winning championships, to who makes the playoff. It's a very fine margin. And so it's focusing on those little things and making sure every single week, like you're showing up to do your part.
And you can watch all these women do their part. The last 14 games of the season available on Peacock. Four teams make the playoffs out of the eight, so it's going to be a fantastic ride to the finish of the season. We'll come back to Fort Lauderdale. I want to go to the SEC. I want to go to Texas A&M. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions because that's my job description here.
Sure.
You went to Texas A&M. It provided you a great opportunity to not only gain an education but to play soccer. And you did so very well. You're a first team All SECer. You were the SEC midfielder of the year. But before any of that, do you actually like the color maroon?
I do actually. I think I just told someone the other day it's one of my favorite colors, surprisingly. I think when you spend four years there, it's hard not to.
Can you tell me the appeal? Maybe it's an emotional attachment, like you just mentioned, but what's the appeal? I don't know. I don't know.
I would say the same about purple and gold. Are you a tiger? I mean, come on now.
That's fair. But hey, purple and gold, yeah, won a lot of games in those colors.
That's
But
fair.
A&M, right? Kind of the newer member to the SEC. Obviously, enemy of my enemy is my friend. We both don't like the folks over in Austin that wear the burnt orange. So, we can team
True.
up on that at the very least. So College Station, right? You spent a lot of time there. Like I mentioned, first team all SEC, your SEC midfielder of the year. Talk about the experience you gained in College Station and what that has developed you into, not only as just a player, but as a human being.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I grew up in Aggie. I think both my parents went there, so it almost was inevitable that I would land there. But it was a bonus that the staff there and the girls, like when I got to go and visit and meet everyone, they're incredibly welcoming. It was a family, I think, a home away from home. It was far enough away from my home that my parents couldn't pop in every weekend, but they also made it to pretty much every home game, which was a blessing. And Yeah, I think I grew so much on the field, off the field, all the things. Like I said, the coaches I had there are phenomenal. Phil Stevenson, I still talk to him today. He'll watch my games. He'll still, you know, critique me and congratulate me and all the things. And so I made memories that truly like I will last a lifetime and friends and people that have been in my life and will continue to be in my life forever. And so it was a really, really good experience for me.
Isn't that like the most true thing that a previous coach will critique you up and
Oh
down
yeah.
more so than the actual coach you're currently
Oh, for
employed
sure.
with? It's crazy. It's
For
crazy.
sure. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, College Station definitely a great town for Texas A&M has gotten really really good at sports. Not that they haven't been in the
For
past,
sure.
but definitely coming into the SEC, it's brought a lot of value to the league, which is really great. Now, if those that are watching around the country, maybe you're watching from Florida, maybe you're a fan of Fort Lauderdale. If you're not from Texas, you have to understand how big high school sports are in Texas and what
Sure.
5A means, right? You guys
For
went
sure.
to a pretty high profile state championship game. And to be able to do that and be able to have success that early on, what did that teach you about handling success into
Uh,
Texas A&M and now into your professional career?
yeah, for sure. And it's funny because my freshman year, actually, we also went to state and we lost actually in the last 2 minutes. We then go back the next year. We play the exact same team and we were able to get a little bit of revenge. And that's when we ended up beating them. So I think it showed me a lot. It just showed um, determination, hard work. Sometimes it's not your time. To get that special moment. But if you continue to work at it and know that like you're capable of all the things that you want to do, and it was a very special group there as well. I still to this day, it's one of my favorite like soccer memories to say I won a state championship. Is one of the coolest things I think that I've done, which I think just says a lot about the people I got to play with, the coaches that I had there, and it's just a different experience. You're playing in front of your school friends, and yeah, it was really awesome.
And hopefully you can add to that personal trophy case of a USL Super League title
I
maybe
sure
later
hope
on
so. That's definitely the goal. Yeah.
later on the season. And also screw Wylie High School.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine you guys were not friends, Wylie East and Wylie.
We're not at all. That's the only reason I had to slide in there and correct that.
Gotcha. To be fair to my guy and to our team over here, women's high school soccer does not have the deepest statistical database
No, that's
uh,
okay. I get
to dive into. So
it.
we'll make sure that's corrected in
No,
everything
all,
leading
all
into the
good. I
show.
com I completely get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I gotta send some emails after this. But um you go in kind of the same timeline. You go into the FC Dallas Academy. Now, the FC Dallas Academy has a very long history of putting boys and men's professional players out into very, very good clubs. And whether it be FC Dallas, whether it's other MLS clubs, or whether it's abroad, they've been able to do that. And there's a well documented history of that. We don't hear so much about the girls' side and the women's side of that. So, what
Yeah.
was your experience in the FC Dallas program? And how do you feel it compares to the boys' side?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about comparing to the boys' side, to be honest. But my experience was, I mean, incredible. I played for the same club coach my entire club career. It's something I think I really take pride in. Again, a coach that I still talk to this day. He'll watch my games, critique me, continue to give me advice. But I truly believe that club shaped me into the player that I am today. They gave me the opportunities to get to that next level of playing collegiately, which ultimately got me to this level. And so I would give all the credit back to FC Dallas youth clubs, my coach, Matt Grubb. Yeah, all of the people that I worked with there are pretty special to me.
And it's so cool to see how big Texas has become in producing soccer talent.
For sure. Yeah.
It's so nationally regarded for football, and
Right.
rightfully so. There's a lot of great
Yeah,
players that come from Texas,
for
but
sure.
soccer, arguably the greatest soccer player in the history of the United States, is from Nacogdoches.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a ridiculous statement. Shout out Clint Dempsey, but it's so cool to see that. Obviously, you've made your name in Texas. You're now making your name down in South Florida. But I want to go to this. You're 25. You're obviously in the prime of your career. Golden Boot leader, like we mentioned. You're in a playoff spot for Fort Lauderdale. You had success with Kansas City in the NWSL,
Sure.
but as you sit here now and you are kind of in this moment, if you could go back and talk to the Addie that was cut from Chicago, what would you tell her?
Um, I think just, to trust the journey, believe in yourself. I think, like I said, when you get to the professional level, it's really hard at times when things aren't going well to feel confident and to remember the kind of player that you are. It's very easy to forget. And so I think at times, like I had thoughts of moving on to a different career, and I think I continued to push because I still feel like I had a lot left. And I had so much more to give, and I'm a person of faith, and so I prayed a lot that another door of opportunity would open, and thank God it was Fort Lauderdale, and they took a chance on me. And like I mentioned earlier, I feel like I've been able to regain the confidence that I feel like I have and can have, and sometimes that's all it takes is just a little bit of confidence to allow you to feel like you're your best self and you can be comfortable out there. And so, yeah, I think just trust the journey and know that like things happen at different times for different people, and maybe your time's not now, but hopefully it's in the near future, and continue to work hard at like the things that you want.
You must have a boatload of that confidence being the Golden Boot leader in the USL Super League. It's been really cool to kind of obviously do some research in your journey. Maybe not enough research at times, apparently,
No, no,
but
no.
but just I have interviewed plenty of women in this league, and I understand that a lot of you have different paths and journeys. Some of you
Right,
come from Europe, some of you come from the NWSL. Erica Timrak, who is a member of Tampa Bay Sun, interviewed her, and she was a part of our winter series. She played 13 years in the
right,
NWSL, and to be able to have another opportunity to play this game and continue her career
right.
still at the top level in the United States. It's one of those really cool stories. And then, you know, more opportunity. The NWSL roster spots are so limited.
For
So for
sure.
USL Super League to come in, to have 8 teams, to expand next year, to expand the year after that, it just
For
allows
sure.
more women like you an opportunity to grow and cultivate your game.
For
And
sure.
whatever happens after this, it's because of the USL Super League giving you the
Absolutely.
chance. And I think it's been a really great part of American soccer
Absolutely.
to have this league included in the structure.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
So I think that'll do it for us. Um,
Perfect.
by the way, I don't know if I told McKenna this or Luana when they were on the show. Fort Lauderdale, and I said this, look, and I know I say this to a lot of the clubs because I like a lot of clubs and they're all very nice to me and give me players to be able to interview.
For
But Fort
sure.
Lauderdale's colors and the crest that you guys have, I'm a sucker for a circular badge.
Yeah.
It's really spectacular.
I do like the colors. It's funny. Like our uniforms and stuff remind me of when I was at Kansas City. So that was like weird at first because I was like, I'm having flashbacks. But I do like it. They look good together for sure.
It's really great. I think all of the teams. I think Brooklyn right behind me. They sent us some
I
scarves and a jersey.
don't tell, but I like Brooklyn has a cool vibe as well. Their jerseys are a little throwback, and I definitely like it too. But
and, and a massive shout out to, of course, the pinstripes and a
yeah,
nod to the Yankees in New
yeah,
York.
no, they're definitely sick.
Yeah,
I would give them props.
but Miami, like Miami and Fort Lauderdale area, has a lot of cool colors to pull from, just from
True.
the atmospheric part of the city. Like it's a
Yeah,
really cool thing.
yeah,
Um,
for
and
sure.
and obviously Carolina. I just like I told you, I interviewed Jill Aguilera, and
Yeah,
Carolina's colors are sick.
yeah,
Dallas. I mean, everyone. I can't
yeah.
pick a favorite because of
They're also different too, I think. Like,
and I think that's the problem in soccer sometimes is like there's so many red teams and so many blue
right,
teams, and
right.
it's hard to have some different stuff. Like you guys are what, that seafoam green
Yeah,
going against Brooklyn's black. Like it's a really cool kind of visual aesthetic.
yeah. I would agree. I like it too. I think they did well.
All right. Well, I'm sure the marketing people love this part of the conversation, but we're over the time. Addie, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Best of luck the second half of the season. Please stay
Absolutely.
healthy, and we're rooting for you
For
to
sure.
to,
Thank you.
to make the
Sorry. Thank
playoffs.
you so much. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone at Fort Lauderdale United for making time for this. Thank you so much to Addie McCain for making time for this. It's really cool, right? Golden Boot leader, USL Super League. If she goes on and does the thing, that's a stat forever, the trivia question forever. So shout out to Addie McCain, shout out to Fort Lauderdale United. Best of luck the rest of the way as the playoff push is starting, right? Only 14 games in the spring window. So it's going to start ramping up very, very quickly. Thank you so much for watching our program today. If you like the show, you can get in touch with us on the internet at Wylie James IAC on Instagram and X. The show has an Instagram account at USL on Goals. The parent company Goals.tv on Instagram at Goals_TV on X, and more videos and content like this from great creators all around the globe making great stuff about soccer from all around the globe, as well as the entire catalog of my show right here on Goals.tv. That'll do it for us. Thank you so much for watching the show. For Addie McCain, I'm Wylie James. If anyone cares, we'll see you again next week.